Hello, I'm Derric Haynie. Thanks for joining me for this session. I'm really excited to talk to you about something I'm very passionate about, which is live chat and conversational commerce. And this is going to talk both about how to respond to conversations on social media and how to manage conversations on your website. But at the end of the day, it's really just about having real-time conversations with your customers. And yes, this can increase revenue, and especially for e-commerce. This talk is geared most specifically for e-commerce, but you'll see that it's applicable in SaaS and other businesses that are getting website traffic and converting people on their site. It's just a little cleaner in e-commerce to me because we can track that purchase ROI back. So again, I'm Derric Haynie. Briefly about me, I have ran my own agency in the past. I worked in-house at an e-commerce brand and then in-house in e-commerce technology for a help desk for Shopify stores. And that's kind of where I got the chops for live chat and understanding the value of it. Right now, I run eCommerce where we connect e-commerce stores with e-commerce tech providers. We also give free consultations to e-commerce store owners. So if you are a Shopify store owner or e-commerce store owner, I'd love to chat with you. It's always free. We just talk about your tech stack, so the tools that you might be missing out on, what tools you might be thinking about, and help prepare you to grow your store. So there are two types of conversations you're going to have with people. You call them customer service interactions here, but we have a pre-sales conversation and a post-sales conversation. Today, we really only want to talk about pre-sales. Pre-sales is, of course, those questions that come in before somebody has bought from you, before the product's being shipped to them. And they're very common in nature when it comes to e-commerce. It's about handling objections. It's like, is this the right size for me? I don't know if this is going to work for me. When will it arrive on my doorstep? That's a shipping question, right? Do you have it in stock? Why does it cost so much? Can you give me a cost breakdown? Is there a bulk discount? Can I get a discount or coupon code? I heard my friend got a discount code. All of these questions are they're right around the product and they're right around the purchase moment of your business. And they're super, super valuable to be handling as fast as possible. Sadly, most stores are not taking advantage of what is essentially the time decay of conversion rate here. And what that means is, you're going to convert higher the faster you respond. And it's pretty common sense. It's been proven in thousands of different studies, and it has to do with the natural urgency of people browsing your site right now and wanting to make that purchase. They want their answers now. Everything is fresh in their mind. So here's what this looks like on social media, right? This is actually an ad that was kind of going viral, and people were naturally tagging their friends, and they're like, we need these. Oh my God, yes. Like everyone is like trying to get in on this product. But what you don't see here is the brand responding, and this is just revenue left on the table. I mean, this could be thousands of dollars left on the table right here. We need to be in this conversation. We need to be responding in real time as best as possible. We need somebody from our team, our company, on the front lines to engage with these customers and make sure they find their way to purchase appropriately. So a great response here might be like, here's a 10% discount code for you. It's Whitney 10 or Christine 10, right? Make it custom to their name so that they can feel like you've really made a deeper connection with them. You will see insane conversion rates from stuff like this. Here's kind of what the chat widget might look like on a website. You're asking for name and email, and then you can start a conversation. Again, name, email, start a conversation. But here, you can actually type a message and start talking with somebody right away, which is how I recommend you engage with an email question follow-up instead of going email first, because the goal is to get more conversations, and I'm about to show you why. Here in this chat, a couple of things worth noting that I really like. There's an element of social component here where we have the bubbles of the people that are actually going to respond. This makes me feel like there is an actual person there to respond to me, so I'm more likely to put in a question. I feel like there's a person there that I can just talk to and not feel too much pressure with. Then I have these buttons that will automatically, help with sizing, questions with order. Like it helps direct me towards a pre-populated response so that the customer service team or the sales team, perhaps in this case, is not being bogged down with the same questions over and over again. Very important. So why should you care about live chat? Let's look at the data. These are real numbers that can truly help. This can happen in your business if you do this the right way, and I'm going to show you the right way. You can have 13 to 60% increase in average order value. So if you look at the orders of people that live chatted versus those that don't, they buy more things. 20 to 40% increase in total conversion rate. Oh my God, right? This is exactly what you want with your business. And so the people that have live chatted versus those that don't will overall boost your conversion rate. And then an increase in customer satisfaction. So they're more likely to stick around, tell a friend, everything we want. It all works. It all makes sense. And it makes sense for simple reason that people want these real-time conversations, right? So all in on total, it's about 13% gross revenue, which is why the talk is how live chat can increase revenue by 13%. And this is the average expected revenue of implementing a live chat system for a working e-commerce business today. So the reason it works is because if you walk into a retail store and you ask somebody behind the counter, like a sales clerk, and you say, hey, how much is this cost? And they say, please give me your email address and I'll be back to you within 1 day. You will walk out of the store. And that's exactly what's happening in your virtual store online today. People are walking in, they're going to that chat widget expecting a real-time conversation, and they're getting a generic response that says, we'll email you within 24 hours. Then all of that urgency and the inherent demand of how they got there starts to slowly fade away. And so if you answer questions now, obviously the answer is now, is when we want an answer, you're going to have better results. Chat is the fastest way to answer questions. It's not even close. Chat has an average 90-second response time, with email being 13 hours, contact us forms being even higher. And then ironically, if you put a chat widget on your site and you don't man it with real people, you're more likely to have a longer response time than email. And this is because you're going to get bombarded with a lot of questions, and a lot of companies that just add these chat widgets aren't prioritizing chat over email, so they all kind of get put in the same pool. Huge mistake. Chat conversations need to come first. Pre-sales conversations need to be prioritized over post-sales conversations. There's technology now that can help us determine which is which and make sure that we're responding to these chat inquiries in real time. So as we said, faster response time will always keep your conversion rate higher. So if it's 1 second, basically I'd say within the first 10 to 30 seconds is fine for expecting the highest conversion rate. 90 seconds is basically the goal. Sub 90 seconds is really the goal. Under 5 minutes, there's a little bit of drop off between 90 and 5 minutes. Over 5 minutes, definitely a big drop off. People think you abandoned them. So it needs, always working towards, instant responses, but of course it's not always practical. Sub 90 is really your main goal. And then of course, 1 to 2 out of every 5 customers will convert, prospects, let's say, will convert to a customer. And what this means is that because there is a real cost associated with each conversation, if 2 out of 5 convert to a customer and you know your average order value, lifetime value, and margins, and you know your cost of each of these conversations, you can reverse engineer how this affects your margin, make sure that it works for your business. You can even figure out how much you can pay a rep based on your product lineup, your average order value, and all of those things. So it's highly likely, since 2 in 5 conversations result in a sale, if you have a working business, especially an average order value or lifetime value over $100, highly likely that these conversations will work for your business. Can you imagine what you can do to increase your response time? And if the big brands are doing it, there are now tools that are available to us. Let's call ourselves, the mid-market is kind of where I'm assuming you're at, between 1 million and 100 million in revenue. And so there are tools for the mid-market to compete very fairly. So I already said 7% are doing it right, 93% of brands are doing it wrong. And the goal is in 24/7, because your website is open 24/7, bot first, then human interaction with a less than 90-second response time. So now let's get into a little bit more of how it might work for you and your store. First thing is some form of tracking needs to be in place. So this is, again, the gorgeous dashboard. There are a few other tools that have revenue tracking, but the important thing and the difference is that a tool like Zendesk cares about how many tickets you have and how many tickets are being closed. And as we said, customer service is not just for support, it's for sales. And this is a pre-sales dashboard where you can see 273 tickets came in. 31 of those resulted in a purchase. That's 11% conversion rate. That made 2,400 in sales. I'm pretty sure this is a fake dashboard, so it's not like real numbers. Yeah, Cher and Jacqueline. And you can see who got the tickets, who made the most revenue, who has the highest conversion rate. So you can actually incentivize and train your sales team, which you probably don't have a sales team right now. I predict, by the way, in 5 years that most e-commerce stores will have a sales team. And it'll be people that are live chatting. They'll be doing phone chats. They will also possibly go in store and out of store so they can have real human interactions, and they'll be trained on sales so they can better sell on the site and through email and all that. So let's go into a conversation, because in order to get this done, it does need to be done the right way. There are a lot of ways you can do this wrong. As I said, the first number one way to do it wrong is literally just to install live chat on your site and then send people straight to email. So don't do that. If you need to collect email addresses, just use a pop-up so that you're not setting the expectation of conversation. And Privy is great for that. Sick plug. Thank you. Next. All right. So I hope somebody's having fun with me here. I see 77 people around. Hopefully somebody laughed at that. All right. So here's a conversation. Cassie said, hello, are the products currently in stock? Julia, the customer service rep, says, thanks for reaching out to us. I had to redact some of this stuff. I'm happy to help here. So this is like a non-answer answer. It's okay. It's like, okay, at least somebody knows, we know that somebody's there. Cassie says, hello. Julia says, thanks for your interest. Which lashes were you interested in? I have no idea why Julia's making Cassie repeat herself when Cassie's already said the product up here. But Cassie literally says the exact same thing again. Julia says, unfortunately, it does not look like we have those available at this time. So Julia probably just went to the page on the website and saw that it was sold out, right? Which is what Cassie already was wondering. Cassie says, okay. Julia says, may I answer any additional questions for you? So this is pretty bad. May I answer any additional questions for you? The problem with this question is that it's a dead end. So it ends the conversation. It's like putting it back on the other person to come up with questions. And especially in a time where we're out of stock on product A, it's time to start telling them about product B, C, other things. Do they want to join the email list? Do they want to email when it comes back in stock? Like anything would be better than, may I answer any additional questions for you? Because when Cassie says no, thank you, the conversation ends. Thanks for reaching out. If we can assist with anything additional, please let me know. Have a great weekend. So what's Cassie going to do right now? Right? Cassie is leaving the website. Julia is the anti-salesperson. They literally just scared Cassie away. They didn't give her any immediate information that could help her make a purchase today. They really only gave her the opposite of that. Julia wasn't interested in Cassie's, shopping preferences. Didn't ask like, oh, I think maybe this was a lash store or something like that, or something. No, I think the next one is lash. And so it's like, maybe this other lash will work for you, right? Maybe this other product will be fine for you. Or like, if you have your mind set on that, here's when it will be back in stock. Like, tell me, when do you need this by? Like any question, right? To keep them around and talking. And it turns out the more people respond with relevant information, the more likely they are to purchase. So you can literally kind of conversate them up. Now, of course, it can't just be like, how's the weather where you're at or something like that. But when you talk about the product, the solution, they start to understand who you are and what the brand means to them, and then they're more likely to purchase. So this is a big fail. Please don't be a Julia. And I don't blame Julia. I blame, a little bit of society, because this whole concept hasn't been explained very well to anybody. I might be the first person to explain it to you, but hopefully somebody has told you a little bit about this. I blame the customer service manager, because clearly Julia is an input-output person. I need to answer tickets. Let me get through this ticket as fast as possible. Julia's goal is to close the ticket, not help Cassie, help the customer. And so that's a misalignment between the business interest and the individual team member interests. Here's another big mistake that I see happen sometimes. I asked in chat here, I wanted to see, I went on stage right after Ezra Firestone at Conversations Conference. Yes, that's a sick brag. And he runs Boom by Cindy Joseph. He was bragging about, his 100 million in sales and all that great stuff. And I go onto his site, I have a live chat. There was somebody there in real time, props. When I asked them if I could get a discount, they gave me 5% off using the code BOOM10, BOOM5. I went to exit, right? I exit and tented the site. I get hit with a pop-off for 10% off my order. So there is a problem here, right? If somebody's giving me 5% and then I can literally get 10% in another place, the first thing is I'll never use the 5%. The second thing is I feel cheated. I feel like there might be a 20% right in front of me, right? So it's a really bad customer experience. You need to have marketing and customer service aligned on promotions and other activities, because customer service is typically the front line of marketing. Sometimes they're really getting blended together, I would say. And since sales on site is essentially a form of marketing, those two departments need to work really close, hand in hand. And I had a lot of experience doing this back in my BoxyCharm days. We had weekly meetings, talked about our campaigns so that they could answer questions around them and all that. So how you have the conversation is really what matters. So let's take another look at a conversation. Do these product frames come in black? Sarah says, hi, Cassie, please hold on a second. Let me take a look. I like this because it's action-oriented response. Remember, Julia said, hi there, thanks for reaching out. I am happy to help here. So it's like a kind of a dead end. This is like, I'm working for you. So just 1 second, right? Both colors for this product are in stock, only these two at the moment, link. Shares the link so that Cassie can go directly to the page, no confusion. Cassie says, so only the blue and red. Sarah says, red and brown, but we have other cat eye shaped frames in black. This is great. Sarah is letting you know, if you want black, I have something else that's a little bit different than this one. Let me share them with you. Here's the link, right? So Sarah is selling. And then what happens is Cassie goes silent for a little bit. Sarah wants to close the deal because Sarah is selling. Do you like this one? It's bestseller in cat eye. I don't even care that this is a little bit broken English, but it's bestseller in cat eye shaped frames. Link. So Sarah's re-engaging the conversation. Kat says, yeah, that may work. Thanks so much for your help. You're welcome. Still misspelled, don't care. Like, it's still a great conversation. And we have other ones as well, but this is bestseller. You can use our filter. Great. Hope you enjoy shopping with us. So it's not, let's see, what did we say here? Thank you for reaching out. If we can assist with anything additional, please let me know. Have a great weekend. It is, you're going to buy from me if it's the last thing you do, but in a polite way, right? It's literally, it's selling. It's hope you enjoy buying products from us. You're not leaving here until you purchase. Whereas here, it's like, thank you for having a conversation with our customer service team. So you can see that Sarah is doing a great job and Julia was doing a bad job in this case. Leslie says, 100% agree that the customer service team needs to stop riffing off of each other and using impersonal scripts. Yeah, for sure. Leslie, thanks for joining. Yeah, so the words we use do matter, and there are a few words I wanted to go into because I actually was able to grab a word pool of a lot of the words used over those 500 brands. So hesitate, I think, is kind of a, I think it's one of those words that you use like almost like how's it going when you're passing by somebody in conversation. Don't hesitate to reach out is what you're really saying, but that's actually a negative way of saying something that you could say in a positive way. Like, I look forward to our next conversation could be the same thing, except it's much more positive than don't hesitate to reach out. Hesitate is just a slightly negative word. By reframing it in a slightly different way and sending that to tens of thousands of people every month, which some stores are doing in customer service volume, you are changing like a small impact across all those people. Sorry should be reserved for when you actually do something wrong. Okay, so if I double charged you, that's a sorry. If the product didn't arrive, that's probably a sorry. But like if the product's not in stock, that's a opportunity for us to sell to you later. It's like, look, the product's out of stock. It'll be back in stock at this time. You can explain it, but you don't need to apologize for it. Find implies things are lost, right? So we're not actually finding things, we're discovering things. It's a little bit different. We're helping them on their journey. So there might be a different way to phrase that. Pleases and thank yous are good. Turns out my mom was right. And if we're saying online a lot, that probably means we're offline too much. We will be back online in such and such time. Like the website didn't shut down, so your customer service team shouldn't shut down. Some of the additional goals that you can have with live chat, you can collect more data on your customers. You can get their hair color, you can get their gender, you can get a whole bunch of different information just by asking them and empowering your sales or customer service team to put those into certain custom fields as they go about having a real conversation. That allows for different like segmentation and personalization campaigns and follow-ups. You could even tag them with some of the product categories that they were talking about. Maybe that'll initiate a sequence in your OmniSend or your Recart, right? So that you can follow up with them in the right way. You do want to keep the conversation going. You can kind of see what they think about certain products. Why are, actually there was a great example with a bidet company that they discovered that people, while they sold a hot cold bidet, people didn't understand that. So they just changed the homepage to say, want a hot cold bidet? Like, here it is. So they like were able to understand that people weren't understanding that they had the product available. They made it easier to see. There's a lot of different things you can do in that research. If they continue to have the same objection, you can put in bold letters like whatever solves that objection, right? So it's really important. And then when questions get asked over and over again, you turn that first into macros and scripts for responses, and then into FAQs, and then into blog content, and you can really answer questions in a great way. Because if they're asking the question to you, odds are they're asking it to Google too. Some of the biggest challenges here, obviously, 90-second response time is really tough. Training your sales team, reporting and incentivizing people, and then calculating how this impacts you on margin. But I think you can pull all those things off. I think you will be able to succeed. It just takes a little bit of work to get those done. Here's the official strategy. Oh, I just realized I'm over on my time, so I'm going to speed myself up. You build a detailed FAQ or knowledge base because, again, the goal is bot to human. When you start doing live chat, you're going to get hit with a lot of inquiries. You need to have a system in place to mitigate many tickets as possible beforehand. Otherwise, you'll be like, whoa, live chat's bloating our cost of customer service. This isn't working. But the truth is, if you have the chatbot mixed with the FAQ and knowledge base, you can mitigate a lot of those tickets straight away. You want a sales training guide, which means explaining how the product works, how to explain the product to people, and what sales actually looks like in your organization. It's going to be different for every business. You want to use their purchase and browser behavior to differentiate between pre and post sale. So if they bought within the last 7 days, send them to customer service. If they have not, then and it's a pre-sale ticket, you send them to your sales team. And always have humans ready to respond and profit. Yeah. Here's some random takeaways I don't have time to go into, but one thing you should note is that most inquiries happen between 2 and 10 p.m., not 9 to 5. So start by manning those hours. Yeah, that's it. So this is the goal. Thanks so much. You can email me. We can talk about this. All of these sessions will be available on demand.